We're in the losers bracket. Towers of Doom is our first map, and we got Sometimes You Win, and sometimes you play against North America, up against DDX. I can only assume, honestly, that the team name of the red team is an homage to the old Shrimpy quote. So I think that's probably the case here. But now we're in the losers bracket. Sometimes You Win comes into this as the underdog. This is the Murky Cup. DDX now, of course, going to be looking to try and complete a couple of bounties here, I would assume. Shout out to Sometimes You Win, by the way, signing up for this year. So we'll see how they're going to fare against their blue team opponent. This is a best of 3 series, and whichever team loses this one drops out of Group B, has another final shot in the last chance qualifier. But again, you want to go to the playoffs as quickly as you can on this one. We have a couple of draft rules for the tournament in case that this is the first one that you watch. So right now we have a rule that every single hero can only be played once within a series. So if you see a hero in game number 1, the hero can't be played again in game number 2 and game number 3, for example. It slowly starts to limit the hero pool a little bit as the match progresses. It creates hero diversity and just makes it a little bit more interesting. You don't see Blaze every single game, for example, on the side lane, to just mention one. And in addition to that, we have, of course, bounties. So teams can complete bounties. Once again, a quick look at all of those in case you're not familiar with them. But these are bounties that the teams can complete. The way this works is that the prize pool is split into 2. We have a traditional prize pool of 1,000 euros, and that prize pool is just going to the top teams, the teams that win. And we have a second prize pool that's actually crowdfunded. If you would like to contribute to that, you can check out the link in the description of the video. If you watch this on YouTube right now, there's a link to the crowdfunding. There's, by the way, also a link to the bounties if you want to check them out later for yourselves. But that prize pool, the crowdfunded prize pool, this is where teams can dip into by completing bounties. So if they complete a bounty, they get a point. If they try a bounty but they fail it, they get half a point. And then at the end of the tournament, all of those points get accumulated. We're taking a look at how many were completed in total, how many did each team complete, how many points do they have, and then you get a share of that prize pool depending on how many you have in relation to the total sum. It sounds a little bit more complicated at first than it actually is, but at the end of the day, if you're completing bounties here, you're getting a share of the bounty pool. So this is what the teams are fighting for. I would personally expect that DDX is going to try and complete some here. They went into Stitches, and I'm personally a little bit sad that they started off with Lucio, because every single time that I see Stitches, I want to see that Alexstrasza bounty. But they're not going for it. They have Virgil on D.Va again, though, and if you've been watching some of the games that we had in Group B, or maybe some games out of the Anniversary Cup that we had before this tournament, you know that D.Va is a very strong choice for him. This is not some meme pick that they have. Virgil is actually quite solid on D.Va, and the team synergizes well around it. Sometimes we've even seen D.Va banned against him, which is not a very common thing to happen. Sometimes you win with Diablo Blaze frontline, but I want to see if we get a bounty attempt from DDX. Personally, I would expect that they're at least trying to pull something off here. The question is just simply what? Imperius and Jimmy! No bounty! I am a bit surprised. They are the clear favorite in this series, so I personally expected them to at least come and say, alright, we're going to try and farm some bounties in this one. But nope, they are showing quite a bit of respect here, and they're like, nah, let's not go too crazy in game number 1. Let's take the lead first. So no bounty for DDX, and sometimes you win. What are they gonna attempt? They go for Falstad as their final choice. Ladies and gentlemen, no bounty attempt in game number 1. The team's going for standard comps with Towers of Doom being our first map in the best of 3 series. Game number 1, DDX in the blue on the left with Shizakid on Stitches. We got Dead Inside with the stacks on Jimmy, Virgil on D.Va, Danazovsky on Imperius, and Yoshiro on Lucio. Over on the right side of the map, it's Sometimes You Win with Madron on Sylvanas. We got Coffee on Falstad, the Dark Wolf on Diablo, Hanzuka on Anduin, and Time Bullet with Blaze. Let's go. I also have to make a correction here. We actually talked a little bit about the origin of the name of Sometimes You Win, and I screwed up Shrimpy's quote, of course. The original quote from Shrimpy in the HTC days was, sometimes you lose and sometimes you play against an A. Or sometimes you play against an A and sometimes you lose. Something along those lines, but yeah, you get the idea of it. I think they proceeded then to lose their first couple of games to North America at BlizzCon, if I remember this correctly. But the quote itself was obviously absolutely legendary. And this might be a bit of a homage to that quote after all. Just with a little bit of self-awareness here, but that double hit. It's a triple, baby! 3 heroes down. Fantastic kill against Sylvanas, Diablo, and Falstad. So DDX is opening this one up with an absolute banger. That was a huge one. Yeah, that one hurt. We had the shish kebab play by Imperius, just lining them up, and then they get the hook and the kill against Falstad as well. So 3 kills to 0. I pointed this out during the draft. I mean, not to take anything away from sometimes you win. First of all, I'm super happy that they signed up for the tournament here. But the fact of the matter is that they are the underdog here. And by the way, for future tournaments, I would really like more teams out of Heroes Lounge to sign up. It's always nice when you can play in a tournament environment. You're definitely getting a lot of experience and you can learn a lot there. And most of the teams, a lot of the teams have obviously started at some point being the underdog and then worked their way towards being an absolute tournament contender where they are, with the experience that they have, can just improve their gameplay a ton. And sometimes you win signing up here. Definitely going up against some tough opponents. Now that they're playing against DDX, they are taking a bit of a loss in the first fight. But they have taken a small lead in experience even with the extra minion waves that they just locked in for themselves. Madron went a little bit too deep and gets hit hard. So that's another one. 10 stacks already on Jimmy. We had some very interesting stack quests from Jimmy so far. I believe DDX played previously in the winner bracket against they lost to Copium. So, yeah, against Copium, I believe, they played on, was it in, I think it was Tomb of Spider Queen, where they also played Jimmy with stacks. And he never really got to a point where he could fully win the game for them. But this is not the first time that they're trying this particular approach. You need to have a lot of stacks on Jimmy and really participate in tons of team fights, just to keep farming this if you want to have a huge damage output on it. Normally it's better when you go into Ace in the Hole and you have some other heroes that help you with slows and stuns to get the extra damage proc. But if it ends up being a late game and you've been diligent around your auto attacks, then you can in the late game just really outpace this and properly scale. But if you can pull it off, that's a different question, and time will tell. For now, Danazovsky is down, and that is the first kill for Sometimes You Win. They take down Imperius, as we have already exchanged all the channels at the top left, top right, so it's all about the one at the bottom of the map. Hanzuka is the one that locks it in, and that is a lead on the objective for Sometimes You Win. So, yep, nicely done. With level 7, we're getting, of course, the unstable compound here. Diablo still making a play. They're trying to go for Yoshiro. Lucio. He gets out. The Dark Wolf is not so lucky. So he dies. Diablo is gone, and Lucio made it. Sylvanas immediately abandons the idea of going for their pumpkin camp. So she jumps out, and the rest of the team moved in and claimed it. So, yeah, at this point, we're having Coffee just jumping back out again. The hooks obviously are seriously starting to threaten them here. But we'll see what exactly they can do with the hooks from Stitches, especially as level 13 kicks in. So once you have 13, you can get the extra hook range, and then he's going to be even more of a menace, especially in positions like this where he's trying to hide, to hook behind the walls. They already opened the one at the bot lane up, and with Sylvanas now gone and destroyed at the bottom right, they can easily try and go for the bell tower conversion, especially if they're also able to take Diablo down. He gets saved at least by Anduin, but the team is making a quick play for that bot lane bell tower and has it now down to 33% of its hit points. With Jimmy sitting at 24 stacks at the 5-minute mark, so not too bad. Not really too tricky. Now, with that, we're having the move of Danazovsky over here in the mid lane, so they're starting to move in on this. And in the middle, still the attack already coming here. So, yeah, off we go. 15 stacks and 24. Now they're trying to go for Coffee. Hanzuka is also backing out. Madron, the Dark Wolf, they're all just wrapping around, attempting to get the bell tower down at the bottom of the map. And Diablo gets gobbled up. Stitches with level 10, so they're trying to use their heroics here to make the move. And can they get the kill? For now, the answer is no, but they can definitely go for the bell tower. And they claim the bell tower. So bell tower is taken, and Sylvanas is gone as well. The power of having an early level 10 ability against your opponent. And that is going to allow them to get also a few pumpkins connected, so they push them in. They get the hits together with that. And things are looking pretty darn good for them right now. So, job well done. All the way up at the top left, at least a little bit of counterplay that is now coming in from them. So, they're trying to make their move there in order to, maybe take a bell tower. Can't quite pull that off. But while the bot lane is now getting attacked, Stitches is still sitting here and is trying to make a move to defend this maybe a little bit longer. Yeah. Just jumping out quickly. And once again, the hook already coming in. Okay, the threat from Stitches is always like mega annoying. I mean, at least the red team has now level 10 abilities themselves. So that's the good news. But yeah, the bell tower is about to be taken. The minions are going to claim this at the end of the day. But obviously, in the meantime, we're having now the next play being made for the camp here. So there's that. And that is going to be the end. No, Blaze gets the bunker through. Nice. Gets the bunker through. Now we go for Shizakid. And that's the end of Stitches. Stitches gone. The second kill for the red team as they are fighting back here. Nicely done. So, with pumpkins through the bottom of the map, 29 points on the core against 32. We now have a chance for the red team to make a couple of plays here. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Also, talking about doing things, one thing that hasn't been done is my admin has not updated the brackets with the correct team name. So this is actually not sometimes you win, as much as we've been talking about the origin of the name. This is actually, names are overrated. So yeah, apologies. So the bracket, at least the one that I have, still wrong. And therefore the wrong team name here the entire time. Now that we've corrected that, names are overrated. Currently playing this one out. I'm being confused at this point on every stage of the way. Danizovsky is now jumping in with another quick lunge. Makes a move for Falstad and takes him down pretty much solo. Not quite, but it looked good. And Hanzuka gets also caught, so they're locking in a second kill. That's 9 in total now for the blue team as they have level 13 talents. And they're also ready for the channel, but it seems like they're pretty confident that they can take down the bottom altar, the bottom bell tower, before they're going for the altar channel itself. Teams are both on level 13 right now. So talents are at least even, but we have names are overrated, falling farther and farther behind in core points. The attempt at a counterplay at the top left is shut down. Sylvanas destroyed. Very nice counter damage here. Falstad flies in just a bit too late, but again, they can't take that bell tower, so the 5 shots get fired upon the channel. Now they're down to 20 points on the core. We have 34,000 damage for Jimmy. Easy top damage in the game. And on top of that, of course, 39 stacks for him on his level 1. He's getting there. He's starting to get some really nice single target damage, also with 30 stacks on his behemoth armor on level 4. That starts to give him more and more hit points, so he is tougher to kill as the game continues. With level 16 next up for the blue team. And okay, yeah, another hook. They're nearly connected. That minion was sneaking into the path and got hooked instead of the hero, but that could have been a problem. So, as is, we still have the fight at the bottom of the map. Jimmy, one auto attack after another. They're trying to go for Blaze, who doesn't have a bunker available. Gets pushed into a corner. The birdie down, Blaze down. That's a double. Make it a triple, baby. They go for Diablo and take him down as well. Dibbles gone, and that's 3 heroes that get destroyed here. Well done. All initiated initially, of course, by Stitches with the hook and Gorge, and then afterwards it just followed that up with more aggression. Easy stacks for Jimmy, who's now sitting at 46. And with 13 kills to 2, they're taking a mad lead at this point. Now, 16 is on the board. That gives us, after the cooldown reduction on 13, also paint them red. And they are pressuring them back at the top right. They are aiming for 2 altars here. They have the talent advantage. So that's definitely an opportunity to try and get 10 points off the opponent's score. Also, even if they're not going for the altar here, just pushing them back this heavily allows them to freely take their own on the left side, which they just now did. Shots are being fired, and the red team is down to 12 points. There were a couple of pumpkins also in play that made it through. Danazovsky, nice! The stun connects, and the red team takes the opportunity to claim the kill. Job well done. 13 kills to 3 now. They still are so far behind, though. They don't have level 16 talents. They get at least the channel at the top right and shoot three shots over. But Sylvanas is gone again. And Jimmy just works in the auto attacks. Jimmy has so much freedom in these fights. It's crazy. The problem with Jimmy is always that he has no real escape tools. He has a little bit of a survivability tool that he can of course use with his passive. And can also create some space for himself with a penetrating round. But besides that, it's not like he has like a blink available or a vault or anything that allows him to quickly get out of harm's way. So there's a huge problem. But if you shield him the entire time and make it difficult for the opponent to engage upon him, makes things a bit different. And he is starting to become an absolute force to be reckoned with. I mean, the damage output that we're getting from him is solid. He's nearly doubling what Sylvanas brings to the table. He's sitting at 50,000. You compare that even to, I mean, anyone else in the game, and he is far ahead now. He has a lot of freedom in these team fights to just unleash one auto attack after another, and it starts adding up here. Another Gorge on Sylvanas, and they're making another move. Jimmy might be a little bit too far out now, but he's in the thick of things and gets the attacks in. Not killed, still saved by all of the Behemoth armor stacks and his trade kicking in. And they saved the bell tower at the bottom of the map. And he's now at 53. So those auto attacks are starting to hit hard. Really hard. And this is going to get worse and worse as the game continues. Also if they're able to lock in level 20 talents, of course. Another 3 shots fired now, though. And that puts the core already down to 9 points. Which means this could be the last objective. They're 2 levels ahead, but there's a triple altar phase now up. And they have 5 bell towers to 3. Well, 4 to 4. Balls that just moved down to the bottom of the map and eliminated the last sliver of health that was still on that bell tower. And they got the top as well. So now they are in the lead on this one. And with Sylvanas already challenging this one, this is a 5-shot fire against the blue team. And they won't be able to end all that easily here. 3 shots fired. If the pumpkins make it through, then this could still end the game. Pumpkins make it through. Now it's all about the altar at the top left. If the red team does not win it right here, then they are losing game number 1 in the series. And they're already being forced back. Jimmy now on 60,000 damage. But, well, D.Va might be in trouble here. He's trying to get out. There's the gas. They go for Imperius again. And the hook against Diablo. Nearly an escape by Imperius, but he dies. The problem is that Diablo is gone too, but at least they had a soul stack. And the shots are fired. The game is over. And DDX takes the win in the first game. We're firing up the next map in the series in just a moment. Before we do that, guys, quick reminder that a lot what happens here on the YouTube channel and also with the tournaments that we host on Twitch really depends on your support. One of the things that you can do right now is to actually jump down into the description of the video, check out the download link and download Opera X, install it, play around with the browser a bit. It's the current sponsor for like a month and it really helps if you just interact with the browser, if you install it, check out if it's for you. I myself am actually looking into a new browser right now because I'm a little bit tired of Chrome, so this is one of the browsers that I'm also testing myself at this point in time. But it would really help. So again, if you want to support the channel, if you want to help out a bit, it would be absolutely amazing if you could hit that download link, install it, play around with it, maybe create a user there too. I would really appreciate it. It would really help the channel here. So take the few minutes if you can, and thanks a lot in advance. Tomb of the Spider Queen. So now all of the overlays are corrected, by the way. It is names are overrated that is playing and not sometimes you win. Apologies. There was a swap in teams because sometimes you win. Initially signed up for the tournament, then couldn't make it. And I thought that the name was already corrected in the bracket, which was actually not the case. So I just went after the bracket and therefore we had still the initial name on display, and that's why we also talked earlier about the potential origin of the team name, but the actual red team is names are overrated. Now, where are we right now? We are in the lower bracket, we have a 1-0 lead for Team DDX, and we're heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen. And, well, it was a bit interesting to me, because it was fairly clear from the get-go that DDX would be the favorite here. That was kind of clear. But the blue team did not go for a bounty in game number 1, so they clearly were a bit afraid of underestimating the opponent, making a mistake, and then ending up being 0-1 in the lower bracket, while their goal is obviously to qualify for the playoffs here directly. So now that they have the lead in the series, I think there is a good chance that they are now going to attempt to lock a bounty in. DDX has, on the other hand, Azmodan. Azmodan plus Johanna has been played a few times right now. And DDX actually tried this before. They already tried Azmodan Johanna on Tomb of the Spider Queen in the previous series in the winner bracket, and they failed that bounty. I was just about to say that they are generally, at least so far, not a team that is going for a lot of bounties. We had in Group A a couple of teams that were trying to lock in bounties whenever they had an opportunity to. Raccoons, for example, insanely greedy for bounties. The Enjoyers too. But DDX has only attempted a single bounty thus far, and it was the Azmodan bounty in the winner bracket, and they failed. So now they're going to try that again. We've seen some teams already use exactly that combo, Jojo and Azmodan, and it again is incredibly important that if you want to play Azmodan in your own games, that you pair him with some heroes that have decent wave clear. So I would expect that from them we're going to see a bit of a showcase on how to do that as well, but we already had in Group B some Azmodan games, and they showed very, very clearly what you can pull off here. Interesting also the ban pattern that we're seeing from DDX. They expect some potential bounties also to be claimed by names are overrated. So with Varian locked in for a taunt, they're actually getting rid of Kel'Thuzad right now, which would pair well as a bounty approach with that. I suppose they might have done also a little bit of research on the opponent. But we have some bounty plays now for DDX. And it just warms my heart a little bit to see Azmodan on Tomb of the Spider Queen with the Jojo combo. So that's kind of nice. The Panda is in. We're getting Chen. That's something that just play in general, so we're not gonna all of a sudden get Lily here. At least I would be shocked if they would try that, because keep in mind, you can only complete a single bounty per map. You can't just go up against, let's say, an underdog opponent and start to farm 3 bounties at once or something. So that would be overdoing things a bit too much, but they like to play Chen with Virgil. As you've seen already from his Diva performance, he likes to play some of the side laners that might not be straight down the meta line. So currently, what we're getting... we have seen Chen and Lily already in Group A though. It was played, I believe, on Battlefield of Eternity against the Bounty Hunters. Not 100% certain who it was that played it though, but yes, we've seen Chen Lily already attempted. Now, for the red team, after Varian has been taken with Stukov, here comes Orphea, and we get Zul. Triple frontline with Varian, Zul, and Dehaka, and then Orphea for the big slap, the big hits, coming in and trying to drop whichever target gets taunted by Varian, of course. So, dead inside. Still need a little more damage. Final weapon of choice. And with Tomb of the Spider Queen, that's our final hero here, as DDX is trying to complete the Azmodan bounty again. We get Hanzo. So, Boy is in, and that brings us to the second map in the series. Names are overrated against DDX, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Game number 2, the match point for DDX in this losers bracket series. Over on the left side, we got Shizakid on Johanna for the blue team. We got Yoshiro on Hanzo. Danazovsky with Azmodan going into Gluttony as his level 1 talent. And then over on, well, dead inside also on Brightwing, we got Virgil on Chen, and over on the right side. Names are overrated with the Dark Wolf on Varian, we got Coffee on Orphea, Madron on Zul, Time Bullet with Dehaka, and Hanzuka is playing Stukov. So it is a party time in the Nexus and the Tomb of the Spider Queen. Let's take a look at Azmodan and if they are properly stacking this up with Jojo. Blocking the waves a little bit as well. Danazovsky on Azmodan, and I would expect that they're really trying to go for a little bit of a combo play to ensure that he gets his stacks. already the first move. There's the hit. And they're getting 10 stacks out of the first wave. Again, you can optimize this even more, but the thought is there. They're going in with a little bit of AoE against the wave and just assist with Johanna, right wing, whoever else they can bring in here. So yeah, just waiting around the cooldowns. There's the next hit already coming in, and they're sitting already on 20. Again, I say this every time that Asmodan gets played in a higher level game. But if you are playing, let's say, Heroes Lounge in one of the lower leagues there. Oh, nice. That's a kill, isn't it? No! Oh my god! 19 hit points! But at least Varian doesn't die. But they get the leg with the Haka. And the kill on Asmodan. Alright, so they are not able to get Hanzo, but they get Asmodan. So as the dust settled, it's still first blood. 4 names are overrated. Nicely done. I like it. Well done. So they get first blood here, and they also shut down some of the stacking from Asmodan. That's something that you shouldn't copy if you're trying to play Asmodan. But again, if you play, let's say in the lower leagues of Heroes Lounge, if you play with your friends in Quick Match sometimes, or you find yourself in a ranked game in Wood League or Plastic League, make sure that you do this properly. Rotate with another hero. Have Jojo, have somebody else with a little bit AoE, and just time the cooldown so that you get max value out of these plays. You want to stack Asmodan quickly, same as you see right here, so that he is self-sufficient super quickly, can get some added wave clear, and has a bigger impact. It's really going to help your chances of winning the game if you do that. If you decide to play Asmodan, I mean, again, in most cases, you will pick a different hero, but if we end up with an Asmodan composition, make sure that you do it properly, or you're just going to suffer throughout the entire game. So the rotation has to be strong. You have to have some other AoE damage dealers, and then you're just lining up your cooldowns as you see here, and you're trying to get some hits together. It doesn't always work perfectly, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to stack him way quicker. Now, it's not working for DDX at all, I might add. Really nice hits, by the way, as the heroes are clumping up from names are overrated. But we have Asmodan now at 84 stacks, which at the 3-minute mark is really not bad. The important part, though, is that we have names are overrated with a lot of aggression coming in and getting multiple kills now. That's 2 kills to 0. They are attempting to also remove a couple of gems from the opponent, of course. But so far, that hasn't really worked for them. So, gem count, yeah, 26 to 27. That is still being held here. Down at the bottom of the map, Chen doing his thing, but gets locked in by the opponent. Virgil is gone, and that's a kill. The Panda is gone. 3 kills to 0. Nicely done. And the red team still on a bit of a rampage as they're hoping to get some more kills. The entire idea of this composition is to take heroes down. You want to come in with a taunt, you want to start this up, and then, of course, you follow up with Stukov, you follow up with a lurking arm, and you're trying to get Ophia into a position where she can dish out the burst damage and take the target down. With 3 kills to 0, that has already more or less happened a couple of times in their favor, but they are roaming the map with that format and continuously trying to pick up more kills to get further ahead here. And for DDX, it's just important that they are stacking Asmodan, that they're stabilizing, that they're surviving, not losing too many heroes, and then slowly but steadily, you know, come back and take advantage and push the opponent back. By now, we have lead in talents and an experience for names overrated. So they are doing pretty okay here. They're actually doing quite a bit as they are aiming for some nice hits. And, well, let's see what they... with level 7 now also on the side of... Oh, they're losing Asmodan again. Level 7 on the side of the blue team. So now picking up, for example, the bombardment for Asmodan. But still, they're losing Asmodan, they're losing Hanzo. And guys, with Brightwing now falling, this is starting to become a little bit of a shit show for DDX. They're losing a lot here. That's 6 kills to 0. This killer comp that is being played out by names are overrated is doing absolute work. Maybe bounties are just not meant to be for the blue team. I'm not quite sure, but whenever they're going for an Asmodan bounty, things are starting to fall apart a bit. So this is getting dicey. The hit is coming in at the top again as Danozovsky is trying to control the lanes. We haven't seen a single turning yet, by the way, and we're now 5 minutes in, but they go for Asmodan again. The combo gets executed and Asmodan is gone. They really have to be more careful around how they position themselves whenever Varian is near. Because these kills are getting picked up time and time again, and for names are overrated. This is pretty epic right now. That's 7 kills, 2-0, level 9.5. They're gonna get level 10 in a moment, and on top of that, they now have web weavers. There's a couple of positive points also on the blue team side. Jojo, for example, was able to complete subdue, which is huge, of course. If you are able to hit that one, that's essentially a stun. And they have to leverage that. But they're going to lose a lot now. And Jojo is holding 36 gems, so she needs to be mega careful that she doesn't get killed. If they lose those gems too, then this is a disaster. With level 10 abilities, names are overrated, is going to try and be as aggressive as they possibly can be. Asmodan is already just utilizing his orb, is staying as far back as he can. If he gets flanked, he's going to be toast. They're going for Jojo again. Right wing with a save. And she should still have the Iron Skin as well. A few more hits are coming out, and they're forcing them back, so no fort has been destroyed. And this is actually a really good defense considering all things that are being played out here. Because, again, that was a web weaver wave and the level 10 advantage on the side of names are overrated. So, that is not good for the red team. Now, honestly, they should have tried and pushed for a fort. With the lead that they had, they should have attempted to go for a fort. They have missed out on doing that. Now we have level 10 on both sides, so at last, a chance to maybe turn in. Important also, we got the Tide of Sin, so some Black Pool plays that we're going to see from Asmodan, who's sitting at 176 stacks now. If they get the arrow, nice! Can they get the follow-up? And yes, they can. First kill for DDX. They take down Stukov. No support at this point. Turn-in opportunities for sure for Jojo. They're going to get the web weaver wave. And now the question, how much damage can DDX do? That was an important one. They're starting to catch up a little bit. They're finally getting some kills. They might get another one. Coffee's in trouble. And he goes down. That was definitely decaf over here. Another hit from Asmodan. About to complete his level 1 quest. And now all the way up at the top lane. Shizakid is pushing the lane out, trying to set the web weavers up for some serious damage on the top side fort. So, things are getting really interesting here. The damage output, we have 25,000 for Hanzo. Asmodan is at 18,000 and completes his level 1 quest. Chen, attacked at the bottom of the map, has the keg available, and kegs away. Nice. That cooldown came back just in the nick of time, because with all of the gems that he's holding, that could have been a disaster. But here comes the Blessed Shield, and a nice shove from Stukov. That saved the day. Hanzuka with some great plays to save them. And Asmodan, honestly, it's starting to become a bit of a meme in this game, but Asmodan is just getting killed over and over again. He's alone on the lane, and then he gets killed. To be fair, his push delivers a fort at the top. Worth it. In my eyes, worth it. Compare the two turn-ins, though. Blue team turns in, takes a fort in the mid lane to 50% HP, takes the fort at the top lane out, and can potentially go for a second turn-in even. So they're actually looking really good when it comes to value per turn-in. And now they try for Zul, but yeah, Madron is able to get away. Chen has to rotate back and does, but the Hanzo arrow is on point. And that is the end of Stukov. Big hit from Asmodan, who has to fall back as Zul uses the Poison Nova. But they come in with another hit. Good damage, and eventually I think they're gonna get another kill, and indeed they do. That is the end of Afia, and they're going for the Dark Wolf with 20 gems in his hand. That is an important one to drop. So with Varian gone, that's 20 gems now eliminated. And a triple kill, of course, for the blue team, who dropped really low on a lot of the heroes. But they were still not able to take a single one out. Names are overrated, that is. So, yeah, this is starting to look better and better for DDX. Definitely up to a rough start initially, but now they're gaining control of the game. They have another turn in. They removed a few gems from the opponent. There's at least an additional fort that should fall now. And with the push through the mid lane, they're going for the tower. Sorry, the bot lane. They're going for the towers. The mid lane push is going to eliminate the fort. That's a given. Asmodan is just keeping his stacks up more and more. It's now to 271. and is together with Chen pushing the bot lane to take the fort out. All of the forts are going to be lost here. Every single fort that names are overrated is holding is going to fall at this point. Their kill comp did exceptionally well at the beginning of the game, but they did also not capitalize as much on it as they should. They got the kills, they got the turn-in, but then they weren't able to take structures out with it, and now they're paying the price of it. If you are ahead already, you really need to push this further and further, and they missed out on doing that. So now that's a big double keg. The arrow connects again on Ophia is dead. Hanzo's arrow are on point. They're being teed up time and time again by either Johanna's Blessed Shield or by the keg into a corner, and they allow them to just get these CC chains going, and it is looking fantastic for them. 6 kills to 8, so they're catching up. They're taking the lead in experience. Keeps are now taking damage too, as the bot lane gets attacked. Asmodan with more stacks, more damage, more lane control. And he is at 300 stacks on the baseline. So, pretty big too. Can really start to do more and more on all of this. And get, of course, the damage increase. So, yeah, this is going to help them for sure. They also want more kills. They go for Varian. Fat Illidan jumps in. And yeah, Chen starts to retreat. Hex out, doesn't want to get caught here by Zul. There's more damage at the top thanks to catapults. The wall is still intact though, but the team has now level 16 talents. And that gives DDX also the total annihilation here for Asmodan. So, more damage against heroes that he can get. And as he is starting to get to completion on his baseline, level 20 is of course going to be pretty impactful too. And all of that paired off with his level 10 already, so if he syncs all of this up, it's a hit. It's a hit and a half that he gets out there. You can already see it also with the siege damage, 104,000, 33,000 hero damage. Yeah, they got to dodge out on his orbs the entire time now. The turn-in attempt from names are overrated. They of course have enough gems. If they can get the web weavers here, that will go a long way. They have level 16. Nicely, good move by the Haka, but also a big hit from Asmodan again. And Madron at least has to retreat or wait for a heal here. They're starting to drop a bit low on this. Down at the bottom of the map, the siege giants are now pushing in. Next hit, and a nice move from the Haka to avoid the damage being connected. But they are on the run now. Good move from Ophia though. Damn, that was a nice kill. Paired off with the lurking arm from Stukov. The right wing is gone. The fruit fly got slapped and murdered. That was pretty well done. Yep, time bullets down at the bottom of the map, dealing with the minion waves now. Dark Wolf with a quick interrupt as Shizakid was attempting to deliver a few gems. They're not in a position where they can get another turn in for themselves, but they can at least try and safeguard the gems that they're holding here. Jojo in a bit of trouble, but Hanzuka a bit too far out, and he's going to get punished for it. Stukov is gone. They were looking for the kill against Jojo. They couldn't get it, and now Stukov is gone. They're going for Coffee. That's another hit, and boy, are they suffering here. That top lane fight is not going their way whatsoever. Sophia dead, Zul gone. Now they go for the Wolf, and he is eliminated as well. Full-on hits here. Dehaka, the only survivor, he at least is holding a fair amount of gems for them, but the result is the same. 10 kills to 9 in favor of DDX now. And the push for the top lane to go straight up for that boss. Yep, the leading experience, the chance to go for a turn-in as well, by the way. They have enough gems, essentially. They could time this if they wanted to. They have enough gems now. They could time it, and they don't do it. They take the boss right away, but they can go for the turn-in and then aim for some keeps, and they really should. Asmodan not done yet with his baseline quest, but there are huge opportunities now for DDX to get massive amounts of damage done. It's actually a really nice comeback from the blue team. I mean, I talked about this a bit in the earlier stages when the killer comp from names are overrated really started to ramp up the momentum. They needed to stabilize, they needed to make sure they don't fall too far behind and then play for the mid and the late game. That's what they did. Now they take Ophia down, which is one of the biggest tools for defense on the side of names are overrated. Big arrow from Hanzo. The top side keep is the first one to fall. I think we're looking potentially at game here. But a counter kill would help. Can't take Jojo out, and instead it's the red team that is in trouble for a moment here. Shen is moving out. That is the keep at the top eliminated though, and down at the bottom of the map, this keep is going to fall as well. It's all about the core at this point. Level 20 is close for DDX, and yep, there it is. They have their Storm Talents. The Panda falls, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for names overrated. Their core is already losing hit points. There's pride for good old Asmodan. He's completed his baseline 2. And this is game. DDX with the victory in game number 2. They complete a bounty, and names are overrated is eliminated from Group B. GG.